Last year, Hisense made an impact on the TV world with the excellent U8H, combining very high-end picture quality, specs with value. Today we'll be looking at its successor, the Hisense U8K QLED Mini LED at 65 inches.
I've seen things most people wouldn't believe.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm Brian. This is Tech Therapy. Thank you so much for joining me as we take a look at the Hisense U8K QLED Mini LED at 65 inches. As I mentioned before, it is the successor to last year's very popular U8H, which again had very high-end picture quality and specs at a very reasonable price. Looking at the U8K, I'm excited to see if it outperforms last year's U8H and its own step-down U7K, which I also reviewed just last week. The U8K again has a very high-end specs, mini LED, QLED, as well as 144 Hz gaming capabilities. Now, while this will be a full review, which will cover a quick unboxing, a setup of the stand, its picture quality, picture features, demo material, upscaling, and lastly, some gaming, there are more U8K videos to follow, as well as a comparison to the U7K and the X90L from Sony. So a lot more videos to come. I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Alright guys, as we begin the unboxing, I want to show you the differences in sizes of the two different boxes from the U8K and the U7K. U8K being the flagship has the more premium packaging, showing you everything that is within the box. You have your two different legs, backlit remote, manuals, and your power cable. You have some cable management here on each leg, very similar to the U7K. The detachable cable is beefier, 3-prong on the U8K versus the 2 on the U7K. Again, same remote, which can stand on its own. You can also see that the stand, while looking very similar to the U7K, has a bit of a lower profile. Both TVs stand up very tall. U8K is packaged very well, especially for this price point, which I'll say often, a lot of times at a much more reasonable price point. Things like packaging gets overlooked. It is very secured, feels like the panel is very safe. Looking at the back of the U8K, I will show you the two different positions that the legs can be inserted in. This is the narrow, not very narrow because the TV does stand up very tall. There's the one position, and then you have the wider towards the end position. At 65 inches, if you put the legs way out, it's hard to find a table that can hold it, which I'll illustrate in a moment. The TV does stand up very tall. Actually, I do like that versus it sitting flush, but you have these two positions. Again, at this price point, it is very welcome. Now here is the U8K sitting on a round table in my own living room. Has a tall, kind of handsome profile, very minimalist. I like the way the TV looks. It is semi-gloss. You'll see its abilities as far as fighting glare throughout the video. You have the back of the panel, the speakers there. I do like the look of them and the subwoofer. Later on in the video, you'll hear the sound, and you'll know why they are there. Detachable cable. You also have your HDMI inputs here. You have 4 of them. You have 2 that are HDMI 2.1 capable of 4K 144 Hz. You also have ATSC 3.0. You have an optical as well. Very minimalist. Not the thinnest TV in the world. It does not need to be. It is very sturdy, simple, clean, and high-end enough. Looking over to the Hisense U7K, which is the next model down, they look very similar from farther away. They're around the same thickness. You can see the difference on the U7K in the back. It's hard plastic. No speakers. Different design than the U8K that you see here. Also, the Hisense logo is nearly invisible on the U7K. It is more visible on the U8K, which I actually don't mind. As we look into our first demo to show you the picture quality in a dark room, it looks absolutely stunning out of the box. It does ship in its standard preset, which I'll go through here in a moment. It is a QLED. It is mini LED, as excellent local dimming, more zones than the U7K. Blooming is minimal, especially straight on. We'll have blooming tests later in the video as well. You see it here behave excellent in a dark room, very minimal in regards to blooming. On a slow transition, and then here also slow transition, but a difficult one for any TV to handle. The local dimming is better than the U7K, though the U7K is also phenomenal. We're going to jump into upscaling here. We're going to begin in 480p and move our way up to 720p. You'll see the transition as it slides from left to right. Now, this does not demonstrate low bitrate content. It is simply showing its upscaling ability with lower resolutions. Now we're here at 720p. Does a great job of upscaling, but again, this is not low bitrate content. Very hard to show that. Let's move into 1080p. Big difference there, and the 4K transition is almost invisible. I even try to slow it down, but it also shows you, as we are here at 4K, how good it looks in 1080p, which is very important. Alright guys, now I want to show you the U8K out of the box. These are the settings you are going to see whenever you unbox it. This is very important for anyone purchasing a TV. I will show you the differences in presets. I also want to show you that you have HDR10 Plus presets and Dolby Vision presets as well. They were there on the right. That is the only time some of these settings will be grayed out for you, is if you are in HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision. Going through all of these settings and within this one preset, simply illustrating what I call flexibility of image. Again, bringing up the value of the U8K, especially a high-end TV at a great value. A lot of times these settings are minimized, meaning you don't have the flexibility. Here you have a ton of flexibility, a ton of options within every single preset. I'll also show you the presets in a moment and how different they look. It's also a gift to have both HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision. But as you can tell, each different setting changes the image quite a bit. You want that. You want to be able to make the TV look the way you want it to. It is your TV. I am not a picture quality snob in regards to things looking completely accurate. I want you to be able to make it look the way you want it to look. I will tell you out of the box that the U8K is very saturated, very poppy. It is a QLED mini LED. It is very bright. But with very little work, just jumping into its filmmaker mode, even the energy saver mode, you can immediately make the image look more accurate. I personally like the theater mode, which is the mode you'll see primarily through this video, as it does have a nice saturated look, but more accurate look than, say, the standard or vivid preset. Now, as you're seeing me go through the menu items, I quickly want to talk about the price of the U8K. At 55 inches right now, it is $799, 65 inches, $1,099, 75 inches, $1,599. Now, there was a rumored 85 inch that I don't see yet. But for context, the QN90C at 55 inches is $1,499, 65, $1,999, and at 75, $2,799. The X93 from Sony at 65 inches is $1899, 75 inches, $2699. So you're seeing a few thousand dollars price difference in between the U8K and the TVs it's competing with. Remember, it is the flagship. The U7K is only a few $100s less, but I will tell you this far into the review, the U8K is worth every penny in regards to the differences in price in the U7K. And I love the U7K. But to have a TV be $15.99 versus $27.99 and $26.99, that is a huge difference. And you have a lot of functionality here in regards to HDR10 Plus, 144 Hertz. Showing you the different presets here, how they look. And again, as I mentioned before, I'm all about you making the TV look the way you want it to look. Also, you're seeing me do these presets in a bright room, so the glare is not bad. It is perfect for a bright room and a dark room as well. For this part, we'll stay in the theater mode. Stars are there, not crushing any detail. Local dimming is very good without crushing shadow detail. Colors look very natural, but can look saturated, especially in this theater preset. Quickly want to wander into SDR, as there is an extra picture setting here, a theater day and a theater night. Also want to illustrate that SDR is not less bright than HDR, and the local dimming is as effective. Typically, or you will see differences in HDR and SDR. You can make it look as saturated and as bright and as unnatural as you want. It's the beauty of QLED. But just showing you the different presets in SDR, as a lot of you are always curious, not only in HDR, but in SDR. I will not show you movies due to copyright, but here you are seeing that flexibility of image that I discussed before. Now, this is a very tough demo to make look accurate. The U8K does an excellent job. This part here is a real challenge for LEDs, as it's a very fast transition. More importantly, it controls the blooming without dimming the image that you see on Samsung, and blooming is minimal. Excellent local dimming by the U8K. The motion is very good. Again, if you like motion interpolation, there are a lot of choices. Again, a lot of flexibility of image. You'll see it compared to the U7K next week, but I was impressed, very impressed with the U7K. I was glad to review the U7K first, to be honest. As you're looking at our good friend Jennifer Gala's content, as well as the HDR Super channel, the detail on the monkey looks fantastic. The whites are white. Processing doing an excellent job here. Back in a darker room. I love going back and forth, showing you bright room, dark room, medium room. But love the colors from natural to saturated, which you're going to see here. Very rich. As I mentioned before, the upscaling is quite good. But for a flagship at $15.99 at 75 inches, $1,000 at 65 inches, and at 55 inches, $7.99 is amazing. While trying to separate itself from a value brand, it's something you have to bring up, but the fact of the matter is you're getting that high-end picture quality at a value. They don't want to be called value, but the value's there. And for me, when you make that purchase, it's kind of guilt-free. You don't have that buyer's remorse. And since the build quality is so much better and it looks more premium, as we move back into Jennifer's content, I love using this for local dimming. It's a very aggressive aspect ratio with bright lights hitting. We're here in a dark room. The black bars are black. Turning the lights on. Again, special shout out to Jennifer Gala and the HDR Super channel for the use of her amazing work. You're seeing that throughout the video. Check the description for her channel, and please like and subscribe to both of them. So dead on, no light bleed at all, excellent local dimming. Again, a bit better than the U7K, which was also very good. More zones on the U8K. Turn the lights back off. Getting up off the tripod. And you have to get pretty much up and over to the side to see them turn gray. And there it is. But that's also standing over it, which is off angle as well. But very impressed with the local dimming. Again, it's a mini LED with many zones. And the U7K off angle wasn't as, you didn't have as good a viewing angle, much better here. Now for your Vivid fans that want to see the TV at its brightest, it's about 1500 nits. It is very punchy and very bright. I like to do this with all my TVs, is show you, some of you guys love that vivid dynamic look. Here it is. And it does not disappoint. The key with the processing is you can jump into Vivid and Standard and not have a very noisy image. Now keep in mind the transitions here with the black level are still good, but we are in Vivid. And they're very fast. And the U8K does a great job with it. You'll also see the U8K go against the Sony X90L. But I like the way the TV looks even just sitting there in space. And here's a quick transition. And in Vivid, that looks great. Does a great job. Overall, excellent picture quality, excellent processing, great motion. Probably my biggest complaint, we were going through the presets earlier, is I hate having to back out of every preset. They can probably consolidate some of those. My biggest gripe is probably HDR10 and Dolby Vision locking me out of some of those options. I actually rather not have either one of them, to be honest, as Dolby Vision implementation isn't great across all manufacturers. But very little to complain about, again, as the price point renders that a mute conversation. Very punchy, very colorful. Now we're going to go into sound very quickly, again, using Jennifer's material. Show you the different sound options, being able to enable and disable the subwoofer. As the sound demo starts, please turn up your volume. You'll be able to hear both music and sound effects within Jennifer's work. But having this kind of flexibility on a TV, again, at this price point, a sound bar is not needed. And being able to tune it that much is also excellent to have. Here's Jennifer's demo. Please turn up your volume. My apologies if that was too loud. We're gonna go into some gaming. Now we're gonna just touch on gaming as I have dedicated videos as we go into 144 Hertz. You're gonna see me enhance the HDMI. Should have mentioned we're also in the Google platform. It is very snappy, moves around. But I want to show you the game bar as we look at Ghost of Tsushima on the PS5. Very elaborate game bar, a lot of options and settings to toggle. Now the picture quality in the game mode for the U8K is a good deal better than the U7K. You'll also see that in its comparison. Though I like the U7K, U8K is on another level of fine detail as well as color and local dimming. Game bars are expected at this point from all manufacturers, and Hisense doesn't disappoint here. A lot of flexibility of image. Within the picture options, my one complaint is advanced contrast is something that is grayed out. Otherwise, I'm happy with the local dimming being effective, being able to change the image. Did notice a big difference in variable refresh rate as far as enabling it or disabling it in terms of its picture quality. Why I'm doing a separate video for gaming is to show 144 Hz on a 4090 PC. But touching on gaming here at the end, I love the way the game mode looks. Other than advanced contrast enhancer missing, it's a very good looking game mode and also very detailed. Having the game bar is excellent. You also have presets within to change the game mode. You have different presets. Some will tell you they're supported, others will probably leave you at a higher latency, but you do have the option to bounce out of game mode without going into enhanced HDMI. So going and changing enhanced HDMI doesn't lock you into game mode. You can jump in and out, which is important. Some of you guys like using motion interpolation and being in other presets. That is available here. But again, we'll follow up on a more comprehensive gaming video, but highly recommended for gaming. Again, having 144 Hz, 120 Hz, VRR, auto low latency modes, has everything you need. And the game mode also looks very good, as I've mentioned before, a step up from the U7K. And when getting into LEDs or mini LEDs in gaming, you are going to be limited to some degree due to the pixel response and due to processing adding lag or latency. That said, the blacks are still very good. And again, the motion is very good, feels quick, responsive, very colorful. But showing you all the different options you have. And again, these game bars need to be fully functional and have a lot of different options to toggle the image. So again, Ghost of Tsushima on PS5. As we move into Dirt on PS5, again, good looking game. And it's a hard game to make look good because it has that sun bleached, or the HDR can look washed out even though I'm here in the rain. This is dynamic weather, by the way. It can look very washed out, and it doesn't look that way here in the U8K. Very clean, very responsive. I hate to keep saying it, but at this price point, to be able to have that many features, 144 Hz, HDR10+, Dolby Vision gaming, excellent. Going into Souls, I like showing this for the local dimming's ability, going from dark to light. You don't see any haloing around the HUD elements on screen. Again, very impressive, very bright. So what should Hisense work on at this point? Perhaps a little bit of refinement with their settings, getting in and out, not having to click in and out. Otherwise, it's a very complete TV. Excellent value, beautiful picture quality, tremendous sound, both HDR10+ and Dolby Vision. I like the design. It is very basic while still looking high-end enough. It does great in a bright room. Beautiful colors. Very pleased with it. All right, guys, I am Brian. This is Tech Therapy. Thank you so much for watching. The U8K is highly recommended. High-end picture quality at a low-end price. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing. Have a great day. Take care.